about, ever since I put my new smooth roller on, if you remember, I also replaced these, my adjustment brackets. My adjustment brackets, you know, these are the two main things to my adjustment brackets. This adjustment knob goes into this slot here on this adjustment bracket, and it's what makes the roller go up and down, and that's what changes the height of cut. So ever since I put these new brackets on in the smooth roller, I've been having this problem adjusting my blade. I have my blade adjustment measuring tool right here, and you know, when you measure, you know, you got this plunger that goes up and down. It basically, you know, grabs onto the to the top of the blade here, and it basically is giving you an indication of how far it is from your bed knife to your roller, and that basically determines what your cutting height is right there, that difference in between. So when I've been adjusting, my problem's been is it is constantly shifting as I'm doing the adjusting. I'll measure one side, I'll get it right. I'll go measure the other side, I'll get it right. I'll go back to the other side, I'll check it just to make sure, and it's like, it's just way off. And it's like, what's going on? And I'm going back and forth and adjusting these things. Well, the simple answer is, again, the poor quality in workmanship on McLane's part. I have three of these adjusting brackets. I have these new ones. These are brand new, and I just got them. And yesterday I was out here messing around with it, trying to figure out what the problem is. And I thought about it over last week of what the problem was, and it actually is what the problem is. So I'm going to come up to the camera here and just kind of show you. So it's hard for me to see if you can see the difference, but if you could see the difference in the thickness between this and this, can you tell how this one is thinner and this one is thicker? So here's the problem. When you put this adjusting knob in here, see, it doesn't rock back and forth. There's no real play in the knob. Okay? When you put it over here, okay, you see all the play that you have on that? So that play is what is creating the adjustment problem, because it's enough to where when you adjust it, you get it set at one height. If you just slightly put a little extra pressure on it, it moves the roller up and down. And it creates that small movement, and it changes the height. So I'm going to paint these. I'm actually going to grind these down, finish grinding them. I'm going to paint these. This is, I think these brackets I got the last time I got new brackets. I can't remember now. I'm pretty sure, because you see, I've ground them out here already. Because before I got the measuring tool, I used to think that this was the problem of why I was having such a hard time adjusting it up and down, and it would bind and it would change and it would stick. And the reality was, it was just the amount of pressure that, because the way I used to adjust it before, everything was on the ground like it is right now, and I was just adjusting these knobs like this with it on the ground like it is, and I was having a hard time. And the adjustment wasn't sliding on this bracket here smooth enough to where it would go up and down as I'm turning this. It would kind of bind up, and you know, if one side was higher or lower than the other, it just wasn't working properly. Now that I do it with my adjustment gauge here, and I do it with no pressure, I do it with my lawnmower back like this, and there's no pressure on the roller. So now it sits, and it can be adjusted properly. Oops. But yeah, so that brought me to this new problem of the sloppiness in these brackets. So I have three brackets. None of them are the same thickness. Okay, this is the best one that I have right here. This one's an older one. I actually painted these. I believe these are my original ones. And then the ones I have on there are basically like this right here, because the slop is about the same like this right here on these adjusting brackets. So my resolution is, I've talked about the friend of mine that has a friend who has a CNC machine. I'm thinking about having him make me my own brackets and making them so that they're this thickness right here. So what I was thinking was originally was maybe putting like a fender washer or something on this knob, but you can't because it's slotted. So you can't put a washer on this to fit in here to make it go higher, but I can weld a washer on this right here. And that's kind of what I'm thinking I might do, is just have a washer or extra material welded up here and then grind it down to where this fits in there perfectly snug, so there's no play up and down or sloppiness, making the adjusting easier. So I'm going to paint these. I'm going to get these on, and I'm going to put them back on here probably next week.